Hello, this is the Watchdog, and welcome back to Fun with Watches. If watches weren't fun, you'd only need one. Today we're going to review the Specht Sohne SP00018. Let's start off the wrist check. I'm wearing this Techno Marine 220-115, and Gregory's wearing my Luminix Big Giant Sea Turtle 0320. Grego said Daedric Grandmaster Boba Fischer is very upset that Chewbacca ripped one of his arms out of the socket for teaching Han Solo how to beat him in Daedric so he could win back the Millennium Falcon. Boba Fischer said he told Grandmaster Magnus Calrissian that he could beat him with one arm tied behind his back, so now he's going to have to move the pieces with his nose. Alright, let's get the watch open. Comes in this typical Specht Sohne box with your typical Specht Sohne cleaning cloth. And here is the watch. And I really like this watch. I am so impressed with it. I just knew the minute I saw this watch on AliExpress that I wanted it. I had to wait a long time though because it was only available on the rubber strap for the longest time. But now it's available on the bracelet, and I'm so glad I got it on the bracelet because this bracelet's super nice. Another Specht Sohne on my channel. Specht Sohne has done a wonderful job of homaging integrated bracelet sports watches from the big three, and this SP00018 is quite obviously a tribute to the Royal Oak, but with enough differences to make it fun and not just another knockoff, but still keeping what makes the Royal Oak extremely popular after 53 years with little changes. What makes this SP00018 stand out is the numerals and markers on the vertically brushed bezel instead of the tiny little hexagon screws of the real deal. Another fun touch is the different colored chapter ring, supplying much visually appealing contrast. This is an automatic watch featuring the Miyota 8215 instead of the usual NH35, which is entering another shortage period. Some people blame the new NH35 powered Casio Edifice automatic. This watch comes in 5 different colorways, all with the choice of a rubber strap or steel bracelet. I chose the blue dial because that is what I do. If you prefer white dials, you can have a blue or green chapter ring and bezel markers with matching rubber strap if you choose rubber. If you'd rather have gray, then you can have light or dark, with the dark having orange accents. The watch is 40.1 millimeters if you measure at the flats of the bezel, which is just barely smaller than the case. It's 50.2 millimeters long, and it's 11.9 millimeters thick. The lug width does not apply, but 25 millimeters where the bracelet meets the case, and it tapers down to 18 at the clasp, and weighs 163 grams on the supplied bracelet with 3 links removed. So it's fairly heavy. Then we have the bezel, and once again, the bezel is so different than a typical Royal Oak. Yeah, it has the octagon shape, but instead of little screws, it has markers, and they look nice. They're not loomed or anything like that, but they still look nice, and I like this bezel. Then we have the dial. We have a Rehat chapter ring with minute markers and minute counters. Then we have the dial itself, and it's a teak dial with vertical striping instead of horizontal. And I think that looks nice. A typical Royal Oak has a waffle pattern, so this is just something different. Then it says Specht Sohne up top, and then automatic on the bottom. And then we have baton indices, and they're loomed. And then we have a fence post minute and hour hand, and they're loomed. And then the second hand is not loomed. Then we have a date at the 3 with a border. Then we have a unsigned screw-down crown, and I have to admit, I haven't been the biggest fan of this crown. And it's the hexagon shape, and yes, I know the hexagon shape is what makes a Royal Oak for the crown, but I've been having little grip issues, and I kind of wish it was a coin edge. I mean, it's not horrible, but it's not easy either. So just wish it was a little bit grippier. Like, it was kind of difficult to get it started, to screw it down. Maybe if it was taller, I don't know. Just not a fan of the crown. Then we have the crystal. Crystal is flat. It's sapphire. I tested it. The case back crystal though is not. So this is not a sapphire sandwich, but who needs that? That would just increase the cost for no gain. And I don't know if it has AR coating or not, but it does a pretty good job of not reflecting, so I think we're okay there. And then we have the case. Case is really nice too. It's brushed with a polished chamfered edge. And these are real connecting links, they're not part of the case. And as you can see there too, you can push it out if you wanted to change this. So happy with the case. And then we have the case back. Case back is a screw down. It says water resistant, Specht Sohne stainless steel. The water resistant, they don't say, but on the ad it says 50 meters. Usually if it doesn't say, it means you just get the basic 30, but it says 50 in the ad, and I kind of believe them. I mean, it is a screw down case back, not a press on. And once again, this case back crystal is not sapphire, and that would have just made the watch cost more, and you're not going to scratch it rubbing it against your wrist. Underneath the case back is the Miyota 8215, and unfortunately we're in another NH35 shortage period, so we're going to be seeing a lot more of these 8215s, as these are the slightly cheaper alternative. The biggest difference between the two is, well, they used to be that the 8215 didn't hack, but they hack now. And the second thing is it has a unidirectional rotor, spins freely in one direction, which does cause rotor noise, but that never bothers me. As long as it winds the watch, I don't care. And this is 21 joules instead of an NH35's 24. That doesn't really matter either. But the power reserve and the accuracy is about the same. But since I spent a lot of money on a time grapher, we're going to go ahead and put it on the time grapher anyway. Here it is on the time grapher. I have the lift angle set to 49 degrees, which is proper for an 8215. And it looks like it's running very accurate. We have a +5, a 0, a -1. So that's looking really good there. Another 0 there. So this is running spot on. So I wonder if Specht Sohne regulated this at the factory. And then we have an amplitude of 267, which is just a little low, but should be good enough. And then we have a little bit of beat error there, 0.3 milliseconds. That's why you can barely see two lines on the screen. But that shouldn't be too bad. And the fact that it's running this accurate is just great. Then we have the bracelet. This bracelet's really nice. I am so glad I waited for the bracelet to be available. And I'm sure the rubber strap is great too if you like rubber, but it's always easier to get a aftermarket rubber strap than it is to get an aftermarket bracelet. So if you ever want to wear this on a bracelet, buy it on the bracelet. And this bracelet's fully articulating. These little connector links aren't fake. They're not part of the link. A lot of these watches, like this one here, the connector links are just part of the main link, and these little grooves are just fake. So no, this is a true bracelet, and the links are solid. And we do have screw pins, not push pins. I'm perfectly happy with push pins, but screw pins do seem more premium. And this did come with a very nice screwdriver. Here, let me show you, in case you missed my unboxing. See, came with a very nice screwdriver. And it was really easy to size this bracelet. Then we have the clasp. Look at this clasp. Look how sturdy it is. This isn't some cheap press thing. This is a milled clasp, and it's really nice. And it's unidirectional. You have to close it in one direction because you have the square here. The square is actually signed. A lot of these will have the square and it's not signed. So if you're going to have the square, sign it. And just really impressed with this bracelet. Here's the watch and my 7.5-inch wrist. That looks nice. That wears nice. It's nice and flat. And look at that wrist roll. Look how the light plays with the bracelet. Really like that. I removed 3 links. So, and that's not quite an inch. So this bracelet though is a little small. It would have been nice if they would have included at least 2 or 3 more links. So I'm sure though you can probably ask for more links if you order this watch, or they might let you buy a few more links for a small price. So it never hurts to ask. Here we are in the loom room. First impressions told me the watch had good loom. Second impressions slapped me on the face, as I should have known better. As we speed up the time, we see a nice looking see-through colored green glow, but unfortunately those hands are fading quite a bit faster than the baton indices, and we have another case of an AliExpress watch with hands that disappear long before the indices, and there is nothing more frustrating than seeing the markers but not the hands, since it is the hands that actually tell the time. What I like about this watch, it looks and wears great. I like these bezel markings, and I like this chapter ring, which just makes it different enough from a real Royal Oak. I like this vertically striped teak dial. I like the fact that the bracelet's fully articulating and it has real links. And I do like this really nice, solidly built butterfly clasp. That's just very impressive. And this Miyota 8215 is running spot on. What are my gripes and groans? The hand loom doesn't keep up with the indices. And I just find this crown a little bit difficult to grip. And yes, I know a real Royal Oak has a hexagon crown, but I'd much rather have a coin edge that's useful. Do I recommend this watch? Yes. Of all the AP Royal Oak homages I've had, this is by far my favorite. It just looks fantastic and it's solidly built, and I just enjoy wearing it. Well, thank you for watching my review of the Specht Sohne SP00018, and I'll be back with another review or unboxing. Be sure and like and subscribe to my channel. And if you like this watch, be sure to use my affiliate link and I'll get a tiny commission, but those tiny commissions do add up. And I'd like to thank my Members Choice members, all 9 of you last time I looked. And I'll be reviewing the Members Choice watch as soon as I get back from going to the Wind Up Watch Fair in Chicago this weekend, provided that the flooding the other night didn't ruin it. Bye.